16.7 at the alternator. Hi there folks, and welcome to another episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. This is the Mark Twain 120 horsepower part 3, the tune-up. As you saw in the last video, we got this thing running. The valve train quieted down quite a bit, but there's more I want to do to this thing. And the first thing I want to do though is I want to fire it up, cold start. Let's see what we got here. I don't think from what I was watching yesterday, there should be 2 streams of gas coming out from your accelerator pump, and they were drizzling. So I'm gonna probably have to address that, but it'll idle and run. It'll actually go at higher idle, but when you go to give it the heavy throttle, she kind of like falls on her face a little bit, then comes back to life. That's what that accelerator pump does, is give that shot of gas with that burst of air. So on heavy acceleration, it goes instead of just falls on its face. But let's pull this air spark arrestor off. Let's get it. Let's just dive right in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this loose. I just hand tighten this. Beautiful morning this morning, 55 degrees. As you can see, the choke is open. And what this should do when I give it a full throttle, you should see that go shut. Let's see if I can. Yeah, just like that. She fell shut. So I'm gonna give it 1, 2 pumps of gas, just a touch of throttle there, and gotta hook the battery up. The charging system seems to be working fantastic on this guy. She's fully warmed up now. I've had it running for, well, let's just see here, a good 15 minutes or better, maybe 20. Now that she's fully warmed up, I don't know, what do you guys think about this Berryman's B12 chemical fuel injector cleaner? I've seen a couple other guys on YouTube using it on these old timer motors. And you know, it cleans the entire fuel system, gas tank, intake valves, fuel pump, carburetor, you know. Well, it ain't gonna help the fuel pump on this because I'm going right down the yap here. And the engine noise in this has completely subsided. This engine is as quiet as any engine should be. I'm kind of tickled about that. Come on. All right. pretty good. It was running good before I did that. What's share it in the comments. I put about, whoa, that stuff will lift a decal right off a valve cover, I'll tell you that. Lifted it right off. Bad boy is running really well. You know, I'm not so sure I need to touch the timing, but we're gonna check it, because the way that did a cold start, the way it's running now, the reason it's having this dead spot right now is when I look down where the accelerator pump is supposed to be pumping 2 jet streams, it's doing a drizzle, so I got a partial blockage still there that I didn't get cleaned out when I was had the carburetor apart. But that's okay. The whole purpose of this video is to get it running better. Can't stress enough that when you run little wires through these holes in the carburetor when you're cleaning it up, make sure they're all clear. I forgot to do those 2 little holes. But that's okay. Let's see how many volts we're running at an idle to the battery. That's 15.6 at an idle. Let's take her up a little bit. Seems a little high. 16 at the battery. $16.7 at the alternator. That might be just a bit high. Yesterday it was less. Today it's a little more. I'm not sure why. Yesterday it was about perfect. It was 14 at the battery. But I ain't kidding you, this thing with the water pump, you know, the water I got pumping through here is keeping this. I mean, it's just barely, it's just warm. That's it. You're gonna have a lot of heat right here because this little gap right here. But once you get right here, water's introduced and it's doing everything it should be doing. The oil still looks good and clear. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's see, what do we want to do next? I think I just want to get the old timing light out and just shoot it right here and get you in close. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, if it's got a good enough frame rates per second to see it, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to go ahead and check the timing next. Once the timing's checked, I really question if I need to check any of these valve lashes, but we may do it. Hang in there. We're making this thing run, you know, right. Well, that's just a smooth idling machine there, I tell you. I mean, that penny doesn't even move around on there. It's not vibrating or nothing. To do that, obviously it moves around, but at an idle, nothing. Now, it used to be back in the day, I understand if you could stand a nickel on edge on the valve cover, you know, that told you that you were good at balancing nickels. Alrighty, I'm gonna pick up my tools and get those in the house because it's supposed to rain today, and I don't want all my stuff getting wet. Even though I got a cover out here, you just never know what might happen with the wind and all that kind of fun stuff. But we will pull the spark plugs out of here and check compression. Now that I've done all the soaking that I did, I've been through 2 heat cycles now once I shut this down. The engine has really come back around, and I'm not saying she's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but there's nothing right now that's screaming at me, we got some flaws. We're running the old coil, the old points, the old wires, you know, all that's on there, and it's doing a fantastic job so far. So let's clean up my tools, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna let her continue to run, and we'll be back with the timing light, and we'll go from there. I think it's safe to put this back on now. Oh, bummer. I forgot to take the battery off all day, so hopefully we don't have some kind of parasitic, you know, leakage going on electrically here. So we'll see if this battery will start it up. But while it's cold, we did a cold start this morning, right? Yeah. Goodness, that stuck good. There we go. Remember, this is number 2, not number 1. Number 1's down here at let's just call it 5 o'clock position on this motor. There we go. We're gonna pull the spark plugs out while she's cold. You know, we ran this thing for well over an hour. You know, what's gonna happen in the engine's gonna happen at this point. But I wanna check the compression. Let's just see what we got. After, you know, this was keep in mind, this was a pretty stuck motor, and it's no longer stuck. And while I'm pulling these out, I'll bring up a topic of discussion. You know, there's a lot of people that's running. She's running pretty rich, but I'm also running a lot of 2-stroke. So there's cylinder number 4. I actually thinned the 2-stroke down this morning, added another 1.5 gallons of just straight gas. Well, these are burning just black as coal. So it's running just a touch rich. They're all burning pretty evenly. But anyway, there's been a topic people bring up, but that's not a motor, that's an engine. You know, people want to make arguments about just about anything in life. And I had one feller tell me, well, Detroit's not called the engine city, it's called the motor city. You know? Take that information and do what you will with it. I don't think I brought the right compression tester. This has got Yeah, the threads start down in there a little ways. I gotta go get my other one. Be right back. All right, let's give her a go. Get you right here on camera. Hopefully I don't get my legs or anything tangled up in here or blow my face off. Here we go. $130. Now this has got the throttle back here. I've got it wide open. And somebody told me, you want to check compression with the throttle wide open. Okay, so that's what I'm doing this time. Now factory says 140 is what's supposed to be have for compression on these engines. And the last engine I did was much, much higher. It was above factory actually. So number 2. Wow. That's over 140. It's approaching 145. So far, I'm not disappointed. And the fact that all the plugs are burning exactly the same is a good sign. Well, that thing's hitting hard. 135. That cylinder seems to be about 125. So we got anywhere from 125 to 145. You know, you don't want more than 10% variation between them. So let's call it 130. That'd be 13 pounds, right? Would be the variation you want to have. And we're just, I'm gonna call that good enough. That's not bad at all. It's got plenty of compression to run what I'd call pretty okie dokie. We're gonna take her back off full throttle here. We're gonna go ahead and stick the plugs right back in here and torque them down. All right, number 1 right here, 5 o'clock, number 1. So this thing is firing orders 1, 3, 4, 2. So this 1, this is 3 right here. Next one would be number 4, right there. I don't know where these plug wires came from, but I mean, they snap on nice and tight, but this little flangey thing they got on them, actually, they can take that right off if you wanted. 1, 3, 4, number 2 here. All right. We'll take the remote starter off, and obviously we just got our answer on the battery. Does the battery have enough juice? Is there a parasitic bleed on it? Survey says nope. All right, so we're gonna give this thing one more pump and let it be opened up just a little bit on the throttle, not much. Just like if you was out on the lake, starting her up. So what we're gonna do next is fire it up. This is another cold start. and we're gonna let it warm up. Then we're gonna bring you over here nice and tight, and hopefully this will pick up, and we'll be able to see the timing and where it's currently sitting. So I got a nice bright light out here. I think I can make it work. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water on and hit the ignition. The nice part about the rest of this video, for the most part, it's gonna have the melodious sounds of the 4-cylinder RMD running as it should. Fire in the hole. That's a cold start to make every other person out there envious. Excellent. Now what I have here is an induction timing light that is tangled. What happened? Spark plug. So that right there, that's the inductive part, right? Then the rest of it is flashy, flash, flash. No wonder it starts to run so good. This timing is absolutely perfect. Supposed to be like 8 degrees. I'm gonna bring you in here and show you up close and personal what we're talking about. Now what I'm getting ready to point out, and I'm gonna use a seashell that I found in a boat as a pointer. I know because you can't see the numbers very easy on here. There's a number 4 right here. So it starts off as -8, 4. So the bottom one's -8 degrees. That's before top dead center. 8, 4, 0, 4, 8, 12. So we'll be looking for this one right here. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom, or the second one from the top is 8 degrees from top dead center. Now I'm going to take the bright light off of it, so hopefully you can see the timing light. It's hard to see, there's a mark right there on the pulley, and that bad boy's hitting on 8 degrees. All the time. It's 8 degrees, baby. And That's where you want to be. That's why she starts and runs like she should. She's smooth. And I know this is probably the camera and the frame rate. This thing, hoping on a bigger screen I'll be able to see it. But what I'm seeing is right there, that timing mark on the #1 cylinder is just bang, 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 right like it should. And then I need another hand. This ain't gonna work. But when you rev it up, you'll see that mark go way up past 12. But that's the flyweights advancing the timing. And you're not gonna be able to see that very easily with this, I don't believe. But anyway, that's what you're gunning for. If you need to make an adjustment, there's a bolt on your distributor. I'm gonna show you that bolt right now. Right here where my fingertip's at, you see right there, there's a bolt with a clamp. If you need to adjust your distributor, you back this bolt off, and then you can grab your distributor while it's running. Especially if everything's sealed up, you won't get electrocuted. And you can grab this distributor cap and rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise while you've got the timing light on over here, and you'll be able to see it move forward or back until you get to the 8 degrees. Once you got that 8 degrees, you come back over here and you lock down that clamping bolt that I just showed you. That's way down around under here. Makes sense? Should. Pretty simple. Alrighty, we've been threatening to do this for a minute or two, and today's the day it's actually going to happen. This is a steel valve cover off of a 120 horse OMC. We're going to plasma cut the top out of it so I can do valve adjustments and make less mess on these 4-cylinder iron dukes. So let's get to cutting here. Now that we have the lid cut off of my valve tuning apparatus, yeah, it's not pretty, it's not straight, but it'll give me access to the center line of all those valves, baby. Now, this is the old valve gasket, and it was the original valve gasket on that OMC, because look at the blue paint that's still on it. That's amazing. And it's still held together. And I'm gonna, you guys are probably thinking, why are you putting an old valve gasket on there? Well, it already has a groove in it. It already has this little, barrier built in. And all these engine blocks are pretty much the same. Some use 4 bolts, some only use 3. I've seen that on a few. I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this clear silicone. I'm gonna put a little thin bead there. I've cleaned this all off really well. Whoops, with brake cleaner. So I've got a nice oil-free surface right now. And I also cleaned that gasket off with brake cleaner. Now brake cleaner is kind of it's a miracle fluid. Use it for all kinds of cleaning. All right. So nothing fancy. We're just gonna put that on there. As you can see here, this the valve cover has no hole there, but the gasket certainly does. So we're gonna lay this and line the holes up really well. And we're just gonna mash this down onto here. That looks pretty good. We'll let that set up, and by the time I'm ready to use it this evening, it'll be ready to pull the other valve cover off, throw this one on. You don't have to tighten it down real tight either, but just throw it on there, put some bolts in it, kind of hold it in place, and we're gonna go after, we're gonna do the whole engine warm up with this on there, just to see how much less oil mess it makes. And then we'll adjust the valves while it's running. Now some of you might be thinking, Michael, why'd you just cut up that perfectly good valve cover? Well, I've got a few of them around here, and I prefer the aluminum ones over the steel ones. As you see on this one, steel will rust. It's out in an outboard environment, it will rust, and aluminum's just, I don't know. This OMC had a cracked block. I actually had, I had this engine running with a cracked block, so the crack was outward more than inward, but who knows what else is going on with it. And so I just peeled it off of there this morning and was going to do this. This is not what I would call your normal practice. Maybe you mechanics out there chime in. Do you guys normally adjust your valves with it running or not? I'm pretty confident all these lifters are good. They all pumped up, and I've done this one other time. That's honest, I only done it one other time. Works out really well. But if you've got a boat that's really pristine inside and you don't want to get any oil all over your engine on the outside, because I've done it without a valve cover tool, such as this one, and it does get a little messy. There's oil splattered all over your distributor. And then all I do after that, I'll be quite honest with you, is after I'm all done, I button it back up, I take brake cleaner, and I just kind of hose down the whole motor, rinse it all down, wipe out the bottom of the boat. Well, it's personal preference, right? So that's what I'm gonna do here. I think this is gonna work pretty cool. Obviously, if you don't play around with a lot of 2.5 and 3 liter Mercruiser or OMC engines, this wouldn't benefit you to track this down and do this, because it's not that often you have to check it or adjust your valves, honestly. They're hydraulic lifters, they're self-adjusting basically, but it is nice, like on an engine you know nothing about, don't know the history of, and it's 35 to 50 years old, and you want to go that little peace of mind factor where you want to say, I know these valves are adjusted properly, I know this, I know that about the engine, and when I take it out on the water, I like, if I break down on the water, it's going to be a complete shock and surprise to me, because I've done everything I possibly could do to prevent a breakdown. Now, I did have one time, a couple years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, 3 to 4 years ago, my old 76 Starcraft out there, I was hammered down full throttle, heading across the lake, and it's like somebody just hit the kill switch, and it died. And I was 4 miles from my boat ramp. But fortunately, I had a trolling motor, and I just dropped the trolling motor, and we trolled all the way back to the dock. So I had a means to get back there. No way was I paddling. Now, typically on most lakes, there's enough people that will be more than happy to help you out. If I'm out there broke down, or if I'm out there and I see a broke down person, I will always go and help and tow them back to wherever they need to go. Because that's just, you know, the Good Samaritan thing to do. But what happened is the distributor cap blew apart into 4 pieces underneath the distributor cap. What did I say? The rotor blew apart into 4 pieces underneath the distributor cap. Because I didn't even check it out at the lake. I just came home and said, all right, I'm fed up. You know, it went down on me. Then I got to thinking, well, let's just see what's going on. I pulled it off, the cap off. Sure enough, the cap's blown apart. I took off of, believe it or not, off this OMC that this thing came from today. I pulled the rotor off of there and go, cool. Put it on there, put the cap back on, fired right up and ran like a dream. And I ain't kidding you, that rotor is still in that boat today. I have never bothered changing it out. You know, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Well, it ain't broke. So, this afternoon, this will be ready, and we're gonna give it a whirl. Let's see how it works out for us. Out to the boat. You guys might be asking, why is this thing down so low and what's going on? Well, we had such strong winds. There was, I shouldn't say strong, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds, which will take one of these things and move it around. So I had to lower it down a little bit. And then I parked my Jeep in front to kind of help block some of the wind. So we're gonna, actually today this comes down completely because we're gonna finish up with this boat, and we're probably not gonna do another one this fall, but we got some winterization to do after I finish tuning up this boat. So let's move some things around. Well, the other day I knew that this battery's got a little corrosion on it. The year is 2019 on the battery, so it's got a, you know, it's not that old, but I knew it was getting a little tired. But last time I started it, it didn't start up awesome. So and then I had to shut her down because I was busy doing other things. But, you know, this JF Eguo jump pack is nothing short of amazing. I've used this for quite a while. I did a standalone video on just this jump pack when they provided this for me, and I tell you what, I've been using it ever since. I find it so easy to air up tires with this guy. I just, you know, you set the pressure, turn it on, and it just shuts it off by itself. I even did it on my car, my Impala, that has those where it's 75% charge on this guy. I need to charge it up. But I aired all 4 tires up. Go and check my tire monitoring system. They all said exactly the same. This thing's spot on. Fire in the hole. I think we'll go ahead and let this run a bit. These terminals need cleaned, and we'll do another battery test after she gets fully charged. But this thing works great. Down to 50% after that jump. I'll get it back in on a charger. The nice thing is it comes with this great little bag. And I'll tell you what, it came in real handy the other day. My son and I went to go get a boat. Turned out the boat was rotten, we didn't get it. But on our way home, this old couple from Minnesota and his sister broke down the side of the road with a blowed out tire. And so we pulled over, and we had all the tools in the old Jeep, and we pulled over and zip, 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 changed out, put the spare on, lowered it down. The spare was just about flat. Had 14.5 pounds in it. It's supposed to run 50 to 60. So luckily I had this with me, and we aired it right up to 50. Got them to a tire store, all that fun stuff. All right, let's get to moving stuff around. Looks weird without a cover over everything. We're gonna get lots of great natural sunlight though, that's for sure. All right, we got our topless valve cover here. Wow, that wind blew the ladder clear away from the boat. That was pretty cool. And not cool all at the same time. We're gonna pop this here valve cover off, get it out of our way. And I'm using just a 3/8 socket here. You can really see the condensation sitting on top of these, and a little milky whiteness here. And that's just from the, I've been running it in cold weather, shut it off, draws moisture in. That's why you want to have a really good oil. In your engine. All right, so we should be able to put this guy here. Sits right in there perfect. Alrighty, that's pretty cool. That's gonna give me access to all the rocker nuts on the studs here. And I guess next order of business, let's warm it up. We're gonna go through the whole warm up. We're gonna see how much oil we don't get on the outside of this. There's still gonna be probably some splatter. These little things are gonna just, you know, but this should contain quite a bit of it. So let's get water on it and hook the battery up and fire it up. Well, that oil is really starting to clean up inside of that engine. Which is a good thing. We needed that. All right, battery connected, water flowing. We'll give the old throttle a couple of pumps and then just a little bit of throttle. Fire in the hole. It's a little colder today than other days that I've been starting this. Let's just double check to make sure that butterfly's shut. Yep. Good sounding engine, man, I tell you. We'll see if I can get you right over top of those valves. Man, that engine is so quiet. at this choke. It's just slowly opening up, doing what it's supposed to do. Now that valve train, I want you guys to hear this. I'm gonna hold the mic in front of the camera. This might sound a lot louder than it really is. This is literally 4 to 5 inches away from this valve train. This is as I pull it back, about 2 feet away. That engine is as quiet as it was when it rolled off the factory floor. The cool part is, from what I'm seeing, there's not a lot of oil splatter, and any of it would be splattering is going to be captured inside the valve cover. I don't know, maybe it's just that rotella. That is so quiet. Let's go get the wrench and let's get to adjusting these valves. So there's 2 ways to adjust valves. You can do it when the engine is not running and you bring both, you know, this cylinder here up to top dead center, and then when it's the top dead center, you can back these off, feel the free spin on the push rod until it just gets snug, and then you go another turn, 3/4 of a turn. Or you can do it this way. This way seems a lot more fun to me. So right now, I'm hoping you can hear this. I'm gonna back this off until I hear clicking. I'm gonna hold the mic right here. Right there. Hear that tapping sound? As soon as it goes away, I'm going to take my wrench and go 3/4 of a turn. Now, you don't just wrap it around 3/4 of a turn. You got to do it in 1/4 turn increments, 10 seconds between turns, because you'll possibly hear the engine change tone a little bit here. I'm going to go 1/4 of a turn. Hear the engine change. That's 1/4. We'll wait about 10 to 15 seconds. What that does is let the hydraulic lifter bleed off. Then we can go another 1/4 turn. There again, you got to do this 10 to 15 seconds. I'd recommend 15 between turns here. And that valve is now adjusted. So now we're going to do the same thing with this one. We'll count how much we have to back it off. I'm going to hang the mic right there by the camera until we hear it clatter. There's 1/4, half, 1.5, 1/4, half, 3/4, 1, right there. It just got quiet there, so we'll go 1/4. Because if you go just a full 3/4, you could actually drive that valve right into the top of the piston, and you don't want to do that. And that valve is fully adjusted. Let's check this one. That one was pretty well adjusted. This one here wasn't adjusted as well. It's quiet right there. We got our clearance. Now let's fire it back up. Now we can get this last one. Quarter. And the reason that starts running rough is because when you're turning it back down, you're actually holding that valve open just slightly. officially adjusted. Well, folks, I'm gonna leave this running on this outro. Now, we've checked the timing, we checked the voltage, the water pump's pumping like it should. The exhaust manifold is staying right where it should. When I say water pump pumping, there's a water pump up here, obviously, that's circulating water. But there's also, instead of a water pump on the outdrive, I'm actually just using a garden hose, but it's circulating enough water. That means there's nothing plugged. Everything's running the temperature it should be. As you can plainly see, this valve train is dead quiet. I've got oil splatter on my glasses from looking down on it, but the valve cover, the topless valve cover has actually made it a little nicer job, a little cleaner. Yeah, you still got a little splatters here, but it's very minor. A couple little wipes with the rag and you're clean. When I did this before without that, it had it running down the side of the motor. It was pretty wicked, but that's all there is to it. We'll put the valve cover back on and this thing is tuned up. Now, like I said before, in the beginning of the video, middle of the video, somewhere toward the end, this here dead spot. Whoa, easy, easy. A dead spot there. That's just right here in the top of the carburetor. There's two, like I said, there's two little pinholes there that aren't as clean as they should be. I could easily take the top of the carburetor off, pull that back off, see if I can get her cleaned out, put her back on, and I think she'd run just fine because everything else is absolutely in great shape as far as how it's running. I don't think we can, any of us would disagree with how well this thing is actually doing right now. But yeah, valve cover back on, and this thing's ready for a boat that has a good solid floor. One guy commented, he goes, it was funny because he said, when I saw you kneel down on that floor and I heard that crack, I thought it was your knee. I'm like, man, I'd have been crippled up pretty good if it was my knee. But yeah, this floor is just that soft, that crunchy. It's unfortunate. A boat like this would not have rotted out if it had been covered its entire life. Proof of that is in the cobalt that I have. It was covered its whole life. No soft spots on the floor. It's in great shape. Could there be moisture and a little bit of rot going on? You bet. Dry rot? You bet. It's 50 years old. So, all right, we're gonna shut this thing down and move on to the next project. Get the valve cover back on it, of course, which is not gonna waste you guys' time seeing that, but man, I can just sit here and listen to this thing purr. It's just something about a good running engine that just soothes the soul. All right, guys, this is Michael and gals. This is Michael saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. We'll see you on the next video. And I think I got quite the lineup coming over the next few videos. I think stuff that may be interesting to you, maybe not. But don't forget to share with your friends these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'm not one that says that every video, but certainly could use the subscriptions. Trying to grow the channel. The more I grow, the more I'm able to do with more variety of stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video.